Hey guys, welcome back. It is time to look at the fake Charizard card and explain why it's fake. So this is a topic that came up today in the Discord, and I thought maybe it'd make for a good video. I know it's not going to be helpful for everyone, but probably save a couple people some money. Let you guys know exactly what you should be looking for in order to identify a real or fake card. Before you're purchasing anything of this magnitude, you should definitely be able to tell the difference just by pictures alone. Usually you can, even though sellers of fakey wakies will often take terrible pictures on purpose. They might not show you the picture of the back. They might just pretend that they got it from a childhood collection that they owned and that they don't need anymore. All of that sort of stuff. So we're going to look through here. Dead giveaway. We saw this recently with that storage locker full of fake cards. The first thing you want to do is make sure you're not buying anything that's expensive with the exact same hollow foil pattern as the best images that are available on Google. So your TCG player. So that is the 100% super confirming factor. Especially here with like first edition base, chances are the people that are making the fake cards don't actually own copies of the cards, so they'll go online and they'll take a photo, a high-res photo like the ones used on TCG Player, and create fakes using that. They'll print onto either, it can be a real card, it can be a fake card, and then they print the hollow foil pattern onto it, so you'll see it at all different angles. But as you can see here, left and right, we have the same card. This is the same Charizard, same hollow foil pattern. This is all randomized on a sheet. So the odds of getting one with all of the little markings, all of the little stars here in the exact same spot, slim to none. Chances are you're not going to be buying the real copy that was used for the image on TCG Player. There's only one. So let's blow this bad boy up. We'll talk about it. I guess first of all, the biggest factor here, the biggest red flag before you even see the card itself, if this and the other two big boys from first edition base, the Blastoise and the Venusaur as well, were selling for 4K, it's too good to be true. So at that point, you got to put on your goggles. If you really want to commit to the fact that you're going to find out, is this a real card? Then this is the next step. You're going to say, okay, maybe I can get it for 4K. It's a very good chance you're not getting it for 4K. But yeah, the colors right away should be a dead giveaway. But again, if the seller is providing terrible pictures, whether it's in their car, whether it's on their table, which is kind of another probably not a real card scenario. We got like some pubes or something on the right side here, some kind of penis flake on the border. Mint condition, but for some reason they got it out on the kitchen table or wherever else. The reason that it's in such good shape is the fact that it's fake. It was just printed recently. Probably one of the counterfeits, proxies that are sold on places, sketchy websites like Etsy and Alibaba and whatever, by all those proxy card individuals that are. You don't need a proxy Charizard first edition base. Not only is it not playable, but also just that why does it have to be first edition? You're full of crap. You're full of crap if you're calling this a proxy, that you're using it for gameplay. But that's just what sellers will identify it as. In this case, they're trying to pass it off as a real card, which is a huge issue. And we'll take a look at that. But the hollow pattern matching, definitely a dead giveaway. Sometimes the hollow pattern will not be the correct one if they're just taking the image of the Charizard. In this case, they just scan the Charizard and put it on here. A lot of the spacing. So we'll see up here on the top side, and it's hard when it's not a direct front-on image. But you see like up here where it says put Charizard on the stage 1 card. Let's go to our larger picture of the Charizard. So if we blow this guy up and we scroll over, you can see here the spacing is very even on those words there, that text at the top, where not so much on this one here. We got kind of a bigger gap in between here, then we do like smaller gaps, bigger gap. So for whatever reason, maybe some of that stuff they printed from scratch. If it wasn't good enough on the image, maybe they tried to clean it up. I'm not sure exactly how they messed that up, but they definitely messed that up. Sometimes you'll see a difference in spacing with the HP and such, but it looks like it's pretty good on this particular copy. The 1999 Wizards, I might have to move myself out of the way for this one. The 1999 Wizards on here, you can see that there's not much of a gap, but there's still a gap. If we look at the fake copy here, the 99 is like, it's pressed right up against the W. So little things like that. This is like outside of the fact that it should look pretty fake, and that they used the generic largest image holofoil. But yeah, the spacing typically wrong. You can look for artifacts if it's a direct scan of a card, or a pretty good giveaway. Important to purchase this stuff on a platform that you can get your money back. So if you're buying it on eBay, make sure you take it out right away. You check it to make sure that you have the real deal. So let's zoom back out here. What else do we got? We got the stamp itself, the first edition stamp here. It's hard to see a little bit. It's a little bit on the blurry side because of the light that's shining on this bad boy. But the first edition stamp is wrong. It doesn't. Well, first it doesn't match the one that's provided. But I guess you wouldn't notice that necessarily. The location of it is pretty good. There's differences in the text here on the top, but even if the card looks real, you should always be checking the first edition stamp, as we've seen with the Arjun stuff, the Arjun Dillon stuff. If you haven't seen that, watch that on the channel. But you gotta make sure that your stamp is all in the right position, that it's correct, that it doesn't look like it's smudged or anything. Because there are people fake stamping the shadowless cards. So that's a big no-no. We can see here, just in comparison, that we got a nice little, the lean is different on the text itself, but also where the border intersects through the T is on the right side of it. Here it's kind of going straight through the middle, which is a big no-no. Our T is straight up and down on the fake copy. So they did the stamp themselves, or they altered it in some way. I'm not sure exactly why they did that, but they did. Maybe the image wasn't clean enough to be able to put that stamp on there. So I guess last but not least, I think the other biggest giveaway with this is just the texture is not correct. The right side is a scan, but in terms of the first edition base cards, you can kind of see on this one that it doesn't really have that sort of gloss on the real thing, the real deal. And you can almost see the gloss go right across everywhere. So that's another big oopsie doopsie fakeroni. We got the second image of it here. Still doesn't do it any favors. This is the same card on a white background. You can see here all the holofoil markings in the same spot. I guess this is a better one to take a look at the stamp itself. So be careful with the stamps. Even if the card looks legitimate top to bottom, verify that the stamp isn't something that was added later on. But you can see there's a pretty big difference in the stamps here. Again, when we blow this picture up, it's not even high enough quality to give us a nice clean outline. So that's where that comes in. Oh, I guess last but not least, if we look in around the edges, the borders of the Charizard itself are really sloppy. So the print quality itself, if it was a better picture of the card, we could probably tell even more. So without having it in our hands, we can't use our jeweler's loop, which I guess, again, I recommend everyone buys one for a couple bucks on whether you want to do it on eBay or Amazon. Get your jeweler's loop, and then you can check to make sure that the rosette pattern is correct. And on the example here, it is almost certainly not going to be. So that's another thing. Also, where you have, if somebody made a scan of a card, you'd be able to see like artifacts on these black lines should be super duper sharp. The numbers all and the text itself should all be super sharp. If it's got a little bit of like a shading around it, it's because they scanned the card and it is fake. All right, Blastoise. What do you guys think is wrong with this Blastoise? Same thing, same person selling it. So if we go to Blastoise here, we can see that it is a direct copy of the holofoil pattern from the one on TCG Player. We got the Blastoise here. This is the TCG player one, in comparison to the fake one that somebody's selling. It's the identical hollow foil pattern. The stars are all in the exact same location. Dead giveaway. Same reasons. We still got the same thing going on with the weird stamp. We still got a little bit of weirdness going on with the spacing and stuff like that. So another fakey. Same reasons as the other one, but this seems to be the trend, that the hollow foil pattern on all of these fake cards that are popping up that are semi-believable. They're all just direct copies from the images online. So guys, do this with anything. I've seen fake gold star Charizards. Same thing. If you just go look up the real copy, whether you use the TCG player image or you can find like graded copies, anything like that, anywhere where you can confirm the fact that the card itself is real, which is going to be most actual sources. If you don't compare it to one that's on Etsy or something like that, unless you're trying to look for the exact counterfeit that someone's trying to sell you. But this is it. You can see it's kind of even a little bit sloppy within the lines here, where the yellow starts and the green ends. So same deal. Check your spacing, check your words, check your. Even if the pictures are bad, it's kind of a dead giveaway. Yeah, it's all practice. Chance if you see multiple images and the hollow foil looks identical in all of them, then even if it doesn't match the one on TCG Player or any of the other top results on Google, you shouldn't be able to see the hollow foil from every angle. It's showing up really good here because it's a scan, but here we got the hollow foil is not going to show the same stars and such from all angles, and that's what it's doing. All right, next up. I don't know why I have this picture first, but we have the Charizard from this eBay listing here. It looks like this one had 30 bids on it, sold for 4,000. Hopefully this is something that the buyer recognizes, or it doesn't get paid for, or something like that. This could be where that like eBay guarantee comes into play, but I don't know about that, because now I'm being told that the eBay guarantee has, like, people have had real cards that are sent back. So if anyone doesn't know, the ungraded stuff, I think up to a certain dollar value, is going to like CGC's B team, where they can pretend to authenticate it. But whether or not they know what they're looking at is a different story. We've seen the graded card companies make mistakes, and if these guys are just the guys that are authenticating the already authenticated and the low value cards, then I wouldn't be surprised to see them make mistakes. But here we have another example. This one here being the Charizard, a different Charizard. I don't know how easy it is to tell here, but the texture on the card itself looks terrible. Part of that kind of is the fact that we got some kind of hollow bleed situation going on. Again, our borders are not crispy. The thing that stands out the most to me is the fact that the hollow pattern is not even correct. This is not the correct spacing and etc. for the and shapes for the actual hollow foil on first edition base. So this is probably just like a terrible attempt at making something look the same. So, first edition base, for anyone that doesn't know, the odds of you finding something with hollow bleed, not very likely. Here we have, I don't know if they're wearing mittens or they used some kind of blanket to hold the card, which is really weird. Also, some of the look, you can see, I don't know how well this is going to show up in the video, but you can kind of see here, it's like grainy. So even without using magnification, without holding it up really close to your face, just in the images alone, which aren't very good, you can see the grittiness. You can see the fact that it's been printed. Also, I don't know if anyone has noticed it yet that hasn't seen the conversation in the Discord, but if we go back to our Charizard here, you can see that this wing here is too close to the edge. That's not supposed to be there. Also, his feet are too close to the edge, so it looks like they have like They have a bigger version of the Charizard, from what I can tell, where he not only are his toenails touching the edge, but his wing is as well. Here's the real copy, where we have a nice little gap in between all of those edges. Colors as well. Colors on all of these that we've seen are off, but again, if they're taking the picture in the bathroom from across the room, and the lights are off, and they got like a little spotlight that they're kind of shining in against a wall next to it, then maybe you can't really tell that the colors aren't exactly the way that they're supposed to be. But in terms of like likelihood of being like proxies, your first edition base stuff being some of the more expensive stuff in the hobby is going to be where the fakes are popping up. So as you guys know, as we've mentioned many times on the channel, you need to get a jeweler's loupe. In this case, you don't even need the jeweler's loupe to tell. It's always nice to see the back of a card, especially if you compare it to another actual real card. It doesn't matter what card it is. It doesn't matter what era it's from. If it's an English card, you can take the back, you can put it up against the back of another one, and you can kind of tell whether it's real or not. They haven't changed the pattern. If you use magnification, I like to do it in the P hole here because it's a funny name. But if you check in the P hole, you can see there should be like a nice little checker pattern on real cards, and this is where you can either zoom in if you have a good camera on your phone, or you can use magnification. Little jeweler's loupe, blow this bad boy up. Even if you look close enough at it, you can kind of see the checker pattern. Here we have no checker pattern because it's a fake back, it's a fake front, it's all around fake. So you can do that in numerous places, but I just like to do it there because they never get it right. It's always either smudgy or the shading is like blocky or whatever. They don't have the original files, so they're either photocopying, basically they're either scanning and printing, or they're doing it from scratch, in which case they don't have the exact same dots in the same places. You can do this anywhere on the card, anywhere on the Pokeball, wherever. But if you hold this up to a real card, next to a real card, you're going to tell, you'll be able to tell right away with the naked eye that is not the real thing. And again, sometimes it comes down to color differences. But yeah, be careful because any part of the card can be real. They might have wiped the front off and printed onto that. So just because the fake is real or the back is the fake is real, just because the back is real doesn't mean that the front is real. Just because the front is real and the back is real doesn't mean the stamp is real. You got to be careful with all of that. And make sure you're matching it up. It doesn't matter what era the card is from, even the newer stuff with the textures and stuff like that. The texture is usually the giveaway on those. That you're running into fakes. The way that the foil on any of those like full art type cards, the way it reflects on EX, GX, etc. The rainbow pattern where the rainbow is, all of that stuff. If you just go look up the real version of the card, check it out. I think the only one that gets a little bit difficult are those the Flashfire 101 and 102. Secret Charizards. You got to be a little bit careful with those. There's a lot of fakes. Some of them are pretty convincing. Most of them are not, but that's where you got to go in. You look around the borders, you look everywhere to make sure that you have the best chance of it being real when you order it. If you're buying it online, make sure you're paying with a method that is going to allow you to get your money back if it's not the real thing when it arrives, or if they send you something else. Just to protect yourself. Yeah, whether you're purchasing through eBay or anywhere else with a credit card, with like PayPal, goods and service, not friends and family. That's not going to save you. If you're paying with PayPal, friends and family, it better be friends or family, because or you just don't care, and don't care if you lose that money because you're not getting it back. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. If more come across, maybe if some different era stuff comes across, I can make a video on that. But I thought it'd be good to cover this, and just a reminder for everyone that if you just go look up the real card, you can almost always tell from pictures. I don't think there's anything that's even going to pass in pictures unless the pictures are so bad that you basically need better pictures. Be careful even buying this stuff in real life if they have it on the. People like to pretend they have a collection on classifieds and whatever else. So like even in here, we got this seller. They have 100% positive feedback, but they're selling counterfeits. So don't even trust that necessarily, because even if someone has 100% positive feedback, it just means that they're not fighting with people. If they send someone something and they discover it's fake, they'll be like, oh, I didn't know it was fake. Sorry, I got it as a kid or whatever. Or someone sold it to me and I didn't know what I was looking at. So even if they have 100%, chances are even Arjun had 100% because he was just refunding everyone. And unless they get caught in the act and people start actually leaving negative feedback, they're going to refund you because they want to avoid that, because it'll look bad on their record, on their history if they have that. But all right, let's shift this over a little bit. Before we go, let's read the description here. Blastoise 2 out of 102 first edition, near mint Pokemon TCG. I found some of my old Pokemon cards from years ago. They were stored in a cool dry garage. Is there any such thing as a cool dry garage? And still in great condition, not using them anymore, so I've decided to sell them. Listed is the Blastoise, everyone's second favorite starter. So first of all, I don't think there's anything there's no such thing as a cool dry garage. You're either somewhere where it's gonna rain and everything else. I don't think anyone has climate control in their garage typically, but maybe they did. Either way, you can kind of tell, like, oh, these are from years ago, and these were my childhood cards and stuff like that. Like, people are gonna make up a story like that, or they're gonna say that they found it in a storage locker, or they're gonna say that their uncle worked at Wizards of the Coast if they have something really weird. Stuff like that, just avoid it. You can see here and around the Blastoise's border too, it's a little bit sketchy. All your edges, the yellow edges, all the black text and the red text, those are all put on a separate layer, so they should be perfectly solid. A lot of the times, if you go in and use magnification on a border, if it has anything but yellow in it, yeah, you're in trouble. You're probably in trouble there. But yeah, that's it, guys. Hope this was helpful for some people and anyone else that already knows all this stuff. Hopefully it was a good refresher, and or you see the value in it for the people that are not as familiar with this stuff, and hopefully it just brings up awareness a little bit. You can learn all this stuff, you can look at it, but the biggest moral of the story is compare it to the real thing. That's all you got to do. If you do that, if you spend a little bit of time learning about it, you're probably going to be better at authenticating this stuff than the grading companies. Shocker, I know, but that's how it works. I'm convinced. Thanks for tuning in. Join the Discord. See you guys next time.